to give us a clue of what transpired in the villa on the morning after when those kids were killed at the toll gate.
When
the kids were killed at the toll gates, the young people were killed at the toll gates, when there was that shooting at the toll gates, the mayhem that ensued. Was there a feeling after, the morning after, when people were shot at the toll gate?
Well, let me say that these two obviously are related.
Yes. No, it's just the high and the low.
Was I with him
I'm trying to pitch a high and a low. Yeah.
Well, the list on Endsars.
The second one, yes.
I want to be excused. I have no details from the report we read. Civilian people were so therefore I have no details other than.
Yes, that's Garba Shehu. See the way he stutter. You needed to watch the interview at the beginning, how he was interestingly talking very smartly and all that. But once that question of Endsars come, he began stutter. He just shocked, first of all. He first of all keeps silent. Watch as the morning crew of AIDES television take on Garba Shehu, will be the Senior Special Assistant to the President, that is late Muhammadu Buhari, on communication, and how he used respond to the Endsars conversation. When I tell and say people die, waiting Buhari been do, waiting be the mood, how he feel as people die, because as much as Nigerians has to commiserate with his family over his own demise, but there are people who had lost lives because of his order, if Naim give that order. Watch waiting in do. And then also watch when it be say Adesina also respond to the fact, say, Buhari children, they go school abroad, in they take medical treatment abroad. But they thought saying get a very humble and lowly background. You need to see all of these reactions. And then make on drop your thoughts on our reactions under. Make I know as this matter take do on a body. Thank you so much for joining me. I did wait for a reaction. Go watch the videos.
What were the conversations you were having with him? You know, what was the mood like in the villa at the time as you as his assistants and advisors surrounded him? Can you just let us into his state of mind and his headspace during that period of the protests?
Well, it's difficult for me to provide a further insight than you probably have had yourself. But Endsars would have been welcomed, knowing Buhari. If it was a grievance issue, and I don't deny that there were grievances. And you could see that the government responded from the beginning with offers, not only of a dialogue, but concessions, including, for instance, the dismantling of the SARS, which had generated all of the anger and the atrocities that were being. I think the problem then came when it became a law and order issue. I mean, you are there in Lagos, you saw all of the vandalism that was carried out, the attack on law enforcement, and the arson and the murder. So at that point, no responsible government would have folded its arm to say, let it go on. I think that it was necessitated by the fact that Endsars, which had noble origins, became hijacked by elements that were subversive.
Was he angry about it? Was he, disturbed by it?
No leader would say that they were not disturbed when law enforcement has become a big challenge. As I said, the police assets were being burnt, Lagos state government, federal government assets, and all of that. And of course, the lives of innocent citizens, as was to be later established, had also been lost. So President Buhari could not have been happy with that. He wasn't. And we hope that there is never a repeat of that incident again in this country.
That is definitely something that many people join you in hoping that we never see. Not so much that we never see protests. I think protests are naturally a healthy part of a democracy, but we never see protests being put down
of that sort. That's
of
correct.
course.
That's correct.
Yes. But I'd like to also hop in and just to get your insight on who he was as a person. We do hear and we have heard that the former president did have a dry sense of humor, that he'd like to joke in different types of ways. Could you give us an insight into his personality and just aside from being a statesman, just who he was individually, what his personality was like?
I think this is the thing you said now. His humor, his sense of humor, he never likes frozen environments. Whenever he enters a room for a meeting or conversation of any sort, he will crack jokes. He will enliven the atmosphere, and people get to laugh and enjoy his presence. He liked to hear stories, he told stories. And this is what got him into trouble with the Nigerians a lot of the times, because I think Nigerians, we don't like jokes. So when a leader jokes on any given issue, they take him seriously. And then they come after him with all of these attacks. But otherwise, President Muhammadu Buhari was a very pleasant person to be around with. You feel relaxed, because the moment you come to him, he disarms you with his charm, with the humor. And then you get to discuss business with him in a very relaxed situation. But as I said, a lot of the times he cracks a small joke and then people say and take it seriously. And then they begin to come after him.
Okay, I get it. So a couple of things. I don't know if you were with him on the day Goodluck Jonathan called him to concede, and he knew he was going to be the best president. Can we go through the feeling, or did he talk to you about it afterwards? And secondly, I also want you to give us a clue of what transpired in the villa on the morning after, when those kids were killed at the toll gate.
When
the kids were killed at the toll gates, the young people were killed at the toll gates, when there was that shooting at the toll gates, the mayhem that ensued. So, but at first, tell us if he ever recounted you the feeling of when Goodluck Jonathan called him and said, "Mr. President, I concede to you, you're going to be president," and all of that. And also tell us, was there a feeling after, the morning after, when people were shot at the toll gate?
Well, let me say that these two obviously are related.
Yes. No, it's just the high and the low.
Was I with him
I'm trying to pitch a high and a low. Yeah.
Well, the telephone call was between two of them. I was not in I was not in his presence when it happened, but generally we were around as a campaign team, and that period was soaked in tension, because, as you obviously would recall, there were moments when, our pulses were elevated, and they feared that things could go wrongly. For instance, the disruption of the presentation of the reports at the International Conference Center, and then the Orubebe incident and all of that. Clearly in the campaign there was a sense that something was about to happen. In fact, fears were that probably people were seeking to disrupt the process and lead to the overthrow of the democratic government in the country. Militaries could seize power and stop Buhari's inevitable victory. So therefore, when President Jonathan graciously put that call, it eased all tensions and things calmed down. And I think that single incident also, because at some point you could say that there was anger in the campaign on both sides. That thing calmed down everyone. And that, I think, it paved way for the decency leading to the handover and that characterized the succession between the two leaders. Please, on Endsars,
the second one, yes,
I want to be excused. I have no details. The second part, it was a sad period for the country, losses on both part of the law enforcement and from the report we read, civilian people were, so therefore, I have no details other than what most Nigerians have read and seen from the investigation that was carried out by the government of Lagos State. I hope that, I pray that nasty incidents like that never happen again in the country.
Thank you so much.
Always had his medicals in London, even when he was not in office. So it was not about the time he was president alone. He had always had it in London. And then you have to be alive first to get certain things changed or corrected in your country. If he had said, I'll do my medicals in Nigeria just as a show-off or something, he could have long been dead because there may not be the expertise needed in the country. But he needed to be alive to be able to lead the country to a point where we will have that expertise. So those who glibly talk of going abroad, they don't know that a man needs to be alive first before he can effect a change. I know the places where he stayed in London. There was a time he was in the High Commission for many months when he went on that 8 months medical vacation. Do you know that for about 3/4 or more of that period, he was in the High Commission, the apartment where the High Commissioner would stay. The High Commissioner moved to a smaller place, and the president was in the apartment of the High Commissioner for about 8 months. I also know other places where he used to stay in London, rented, that he had an apartment which was his own. I am not aware of. Because if he had that, he would have been there a couple of times and I would have been there. But I don't know a permanent place of residence to him in London. What was the second part of the question?
So also getting medical care, which we know is not cheap.
Getting medical care. Before he became president, he had always done his medicals in London, the same set of doctors. That was why he had to continue with them. Those who know his medical history, instead of going to people who have to start with him afresh. So he had always done his medicals in London, and he stayed with them all through his life. Was he the one paying? I doubt. President Buhari just needs to call anybody, the Dangotes, the Abdusalam, Bua, and all those, and they were obliged. This last trip he went, I know the jet of the person he went in. That's him. His children's school fees abroad. There was a time that there was plenty furore over the schools the children were attending, that they were highbrow and they were expensive. When I went to meet him, I said, there's this noise online about the schools your children attend. What is the truth? How much do they pay? And all that. The president said, I do not know. It's my friends that pay it. He said, go and see Modi. Modi is the wise brother. He said, go and see Modi. Modi will give you the details of the schools and those who pay. He was a man of goodwill. And anything, almost anything he wanted, his friends would supply. I'll say Muhammadu Buhari, the boss, and my friend. Because in all of 8 years that I served him, I didn't see him as a boss. Neither did he see me as a subordinate. We were friends, and we worked together pleasurably. Very pleasant man, very decent man, and most importantly, a straightforward man. Ramrod straight. A man that was as clean as whistle. Muhammadu Buhari was a unique person, quite unique. In the north, The ordinary people used to call him Mæssãcrë, which meant the honest man. They just knew him as a honest man. He was military head of state 20 months. Before then, he had been oil minister for 3.5 years. Later, he headed the Petroleum Trust Fund, also for a number of years. But see where he retired to in Daura, a modest bungalow. When you get there, you will be looking around for the house. Yet the house stood before you, a modest bungalow. It showed you the kind of man he was. There was this story about the carpet in that bungalow. That carpet had been there in his living room for 20 years. And then one of his aides took it upon himself to change the carpet, feeling it was too old. When President Buhari got there, he was in office there. The first thing he asked is, what happened to my carpet? What happened to my carpet? Carpet that should not be seen in his house in the first place. He was just a simple person. Very, very simple. Straight, honest, accountable, disciplined. Disciplined. I've never seen a man more disciplined.
Meanwhile, the body of late President Muhammadu Buhari don't leave London. He dey on him way now to Nigeria, where he be say he go reach the north, eventually to Daura, where he be say then go bury. Maybe with a brief stopover for Kaduna State, and that's all will be here, or maybe straight to Katsina State, Daura directly, where they go bury, and where the president could also wait to receive him body, and later for burial according to Islamic rites later today. May the soul of the departed president rest in perfect peace. Amen. Well, you don't hear everything with Garba Shehu, Femi Adesina talk. I would really like to take on a reaction for inside all of these conversations. What do you think? Do you think they handle the conversations right? I'll be waiting to hear from you. Kindly drop your thoughts on your conversations under here. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe and, of course, like this post. Follow us like a village people. I love you. See you later. Bye.